Greetings and welcome to Stunthangar Video Hangouts. My name is Charles Carter and I'll be your host this evening. I want to extend to you my gratitude for you watching Stunthangar Video Hangouts. If you're watching this as a replay, I want you to know that I host these YouTube live streams every Monday and Friday evening starting at 6:45 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. So please make a note of this so you can watch or be part of the live stream. Plus, we have an after party following the live stream, which is sometimes better than the live stream portion. You must be a registered Stunthangar Forum member to find the link to be part of the following show and the after party. Here at Stunthangar Video Hangouts, we talk about building and flying model airplanes, sport flying, competition flying, and what you've been doing lately. To join our conversation, if you are already a member of Stunthangar Forum, you can find the link if you scroll down to the section called At the Bench. Now, At the Bench is right below in memory of our friends. Now, if you're not a member or if you're not logged into Stunthangar Forum, the At the Bench link will not appear. Now, if you're not a member, please register at stunthangar.com/SMF. That's stunthangar.com/SMF. That's Smart Men Flying. That's courtesy of Jeff Riley. When you register, you must use your real first and last name separated by a space. You must also use a valid email address, or Sparky, the proprietor of Stunthangar, will not approve you. Now, if you're approved and you're inclined to not want to come in but just enjoy watching us on YouTube, wonderful, fantastic. You can enter your questions or comments over here at the chat box, and I'll do my best to make your comments or questions a part of the show. Now, understand, sometimes I can't get a word in myself, so be patient, and I will ask our illustrious panel your question or state your comments. And by the way, you only can do the chat during a live stream. So like I said, I host these YouTube live streams every Monday and Friday evening starting at 6:45 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. If you find the Stunthangar Video Hangouts that I host, or the many building videos that Sparky does on this platform informative and enjoyable, please hit the thumbs up, thumbs up, thumbs up, thumbs up. And please consider joining Stunthangar's YouTube channel memberships, which start at just $4.99 a month, which is less than 17 cents a day. And you get access to member-only videos. And you have Sparky, who has over 60 years experience. Plus we have, a panel that is, our panel has a lot of experience. We have some former world champions. We have former national champions. We have some talent here. So you don't need to reinvent the wheel. You can build on the shoulders of giants. And we have some giants that come in here once in a while. So please really consider supporting us with with either the memberships or the super chats. And it's also, if you're watching a replay, there's the super thanks, which has a little heart, I think, and a $sign in there. Click on that and donate whatever you feel inclined. You see the value of our show. Now, if you want to get in touch with me, or if you have any questions or comments you want to direct them toward me, please go to my YouTube channel, because this channel is Sparky's. See, I don't want to come in here and set up the show. I stream it live onto YouTube. But other than that, I won't come back or check Sparky's channel out till next Friday. So if you go to my YouTube channel, which is called Flying Control Line Stunt, that's Flying Control Line Stunt. And if you will, check out the 2019 AMA National Championship video, which is a video that Sparky shot with this video camera of me flying his beautiful Junar XL. It was orange back then, and beautiful plane, and it flew really, really nice. One of the best flying planes I can remember flying. If I flew a better plane, I just don't remember. Great flying plane, light, and flew great in the wind. So check it out. That was my first time at the Nationals, by the way, and that was my first official flight at the Nats. So check it out. I was taking very good care of Sparky's airplane. I didn't put a scratch on that plane. I gave it to him in the same way he gave it to me. So check it out and tell me what you think. I want to thank you for your past, your present, and future support. You are making it happen. Please keep the conversations family room friendly. In other words, please don't use words or do things or show things you wouldn't do around your own children or grandchildren. And without any further ado, I'm now going to post a link at Stunthangar forum. Let me go there right now and post that. And that's how you get in. I do get asked from time to time, how do you get into the program? And that's how you do. You go to Stunthangar forum and look for At the Bench, and then I post a link with today's date, and it's posted already. So let me make my way to what I call the control panel, so we can start cooking with gas. And looks like we are streaming. So thank you very much for coming on in and hanging with us. You know, get a snack and get comfortable. We'll be talking about my favorite subject, which is flying stunt. As long as you talk about model aviation, it doesn't have to be control line stunt. That just happens to be my forte. Looks like we are streaming. So thank you very much for. Oh, we got a loop already? What's going on? We're gonna get a snack and get comfortable. We'll be talking. Don't understand. Let me see what's going on here. Oh, okay. All right. Hey, the original Steve Smith in St. Louis. How you doing, Steve?
I'm doing great. How are you doing?
I'm doing awesome. Thank you for being the first one in. I really appreciate it.
Yeah, I was sitting here waiting.
Thank you. Yeah, I was having a little bit of a problem with my microphone. I had to reinstall my mic to get it to work. So.
Oh, yeah. Technology is wonderful when it works.
Absolutely. I've already done one show with my microphone not working. That was no fun. The guys in the gallery had a great time though. They really enjoyed it. They was having fun at my expense.
I bet. Hey, Gordon.
Took the words right out of my mouth.
And Caffeine. Hi, Caffeine.
Hi. Good morning. Rob. Good evening.
Good evening. I had a hard time checking in.
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm glad you was persistent. You came in, you know.
Yeah.
Sometimes you got to check your battery, make sure your glow plug is working, and maybe get in here.
Make sure you don't have a dead battery, huh?
Yes.
Yeah. My van had a dead battery yesterday.
Oh, who was that?
My van. My wife.
Oh, your van?
Oh.
Yeah, my wife went to take it and says it won't start.
I'm so sorry to hear that. That's no fun. And it's kind of
it's charged up good now.
That's expensive these days. So let me first start with Steve McBride. I mean Stephen Smith. So Stephen, I know that no one else knows, but I know you went flying today.
I did.
Why don't you tell us all about that?
Well, contrary to my usual electric flights, I got a couple flights in on an old flight streak, not flight streak, Ringmaster, sorry. Getting ready for this weekend, the Ringmaster Flyathon.
Oh, thanks for reminding me.
The real Steve Smith has helped me get that going again, and got a couple of good flights on it. And then I was able to fly my electric Vector for 2 flights, and that was it for the day. But yeah, we had a good time. Mark Hughes was out there for a bit with his SV11 ARF Super Tiger 60. He's getting ready to go down to judge the team trials.
Okay.
Oh,
Wow.
So that's what's going on in St. Louis.
Have you had a chance to fly an SV11 versus the Vector? I mean, they look similar, but one's like on steroids.
Yeah, the SV11 is a bit bigger. I got one. It was a ARF IC. I'm gonna convert it to electric. But I got to get my electric Cavalier profile done first.
Okay. Very, very good. And I
Yeah,
think
something I got from Tom Morris several years ago.
very good. I heard that is a very good plane. I mean,
Yeah,
you know, Joe Gilbert has done some damage with that plane at VSC and maybe other places too. So let me ask Gordon Glaney. I see you have your cast is still on. Okay.
Yeah.
that's still there.
So have you been able to do anything with your Pathfinder? I know you're one-handed.
Well, Roger came out today and finished standing in a spot between the fuselage and the fish rod, masted off the wing and the tail, and then I sprayed some gray on it to sand. So I'll let it set a couple of days, then I'll wet sand the gray off. So that's where we're at. Getting close.
Getting close. Yep.
Soon as you put color on, it really gets ugly.
Yeah, with the gray.
Yeah, gray
Yeah,
or
it really shows up a lot of imperfections, huh?
Yep. I gotta keep reminding myself, it's just a profile.
Well, I don't know. Profile can fly good. I heard your Pathfinder design flies really good. I've heard nothing but positive things about it. I've never flown a profile. I mean, I flew a Pathfinder twin.
Oh, you did?
Yeah, Dave Sabon,
Thanks.
he gave me one minus the engines. And
Well-
but I couldn't get a consistent motor run, and you know, so I gave up on it after a while. And matter of fact, he had given up on it. That's why I was able to get it.
What engine did you have on it?
Well, when I had it, I had the LA 25s, but Dave Sabon tried about, I think, if I'm not mistaken, I think he said he tried like 10 different engines and different fuel tanks. I tried different fuel tanks. I tried different LA 25s. Yeah, it was just very frustrating. You couldn't get the motors to run right. They would run, they seemed nice, and then when you got in the air, it would just, one would be obviously rich, which was most likely the outside one, right?
Not necessarily.
Put electric motors in it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
E-Flight 15s.
Yep. that'd
I
be-
don't have the plane anymore, but I do have a friend who's not flying any longer, and he has a Pathfinder twin electric, but he has a problem. He
Yeah.
had the wrong batteries or wrong motors in it, but the airframe, I could probably, if I get a chance to get it, I could probably, with the consulting some experts, you know, put the right system in there, and then I probably have a really good plane.
Yeah. Contact Bob Hunt or our friend up in New York. They can get you straightened out.
Yeah. Let me see. I think the next person came in was Caffeine. Hey, Caffeine, how you doing?
Uh-oh, he froze.
Yeah, he froze. He's in Indonesia.
I'm doing good. Yeah. Hello? Can you?
Hello, we're here. We're here. Go ahead, Caffeine. Keep going.
Hello? Can you hear me?
Yeah, we hear you, Caffeine. We're probably delayed.
All right. So, all right. Uh-huh. So no much update from me because I haven't done any buildings or any flying in the past few weeks. I went on vacation to celebrate my my son's first birthday. So I
All
was
right. Well,
busy to
happy birthday.
much update from.
We heard the birthday.
happy birthday to your son. That's fantastic, Caffeine. Caffeine, we're having a problem with your audio for some reason.
Low bandwidth.
Yeah, and you're low bandwidth or something, but that's a problem. So I'm gonna have to move on, Caffeine. I think John Miller came in.
I'll
Hey,
No,
John Miller, what's going on with you, man?
Hey, I got a question, you know?
Yeah.
since I don't have a ringmaster yet, and I'd like to fly in that ringmaster event, can I take a kit, tie a string to it, and we'll swing it around?
That's funny.
If you can do 5 laps, you got it.
All right.
That's funny.
Just fly somebody else's ringmaster, I'm sure.
I don't have anybody else around me.
Oh,
That is-
no.
that is funny. That's funny. I think Mark Gerber came in next. Hey, Mark, how you doing?
Good, Charles.
You been doing any flying or been building?
Oh, yeah. I see some pictures.
Yeah.
What?
This is what happened a couple of weeks ago.
Yeah, I remember that.
Oh,
No.
nice.
Yeah, wasn't that
It's
Uh-oh.
terrible?
bent in the
What
middle.
happened?
Got my own wake turbulence in a loop.
Going inverted?
It was an outside loop, yeah.
Yeah.
Went straight in. And then,
Wing looks whole.
yeah, I put it back together. Here it is after I
Oh,
Holy
there you go.
spent 3 or 4 days repairing it.
Looks good as new.
And so I
Yeah.
took it out Tuesday morning. I put about half a dozen, more than half a dozen,
So
more
I
than a
wondered,
dozen flights on it last week, and it flies really well. I was really pleased.
do you get BOM points after rebuilding one from that point?
It's an ARF anyway, John, so
Oh,
from Brodak.
I
Yeah, but
know.
I think you should.
I know,
be.
but what I mean was,
You basically
what I meant
built the
was that
fuselage.
on being an ARF.
Oh, you mean since I did enough work on it, I could claim that I built it.
Yeah.
I think you might need
Mark
to change
Mark
the.
Hughes here in St. Louis been flying one. He really likes it. It's got
Yeah,
a,
this has got a Super Tiger 60 in it, just like you said.
that's what he did. Yeah, Super
It's a
Tiger.
nice package. And I'm getting ready to go to Florida, and I will be visiting my grandchildren down there
Nice.
just about the same time as the King Orange, conveniently.
How about that?
So I'm going to go up to the King Orange, and Will Davis said he would bring me an electric SV11 to fly.
Oh,
So it'll be interesting to see the comparison between the Super Tiger 60 version and the electric version.
Yeah. You know, Mark,
Anyway,
I think go ahead.
I was
Mark.
out last week doing a lot of flying. So this was, the kids are all in school and the fields are open and the weather was great all week. One day we got a little bit of wind, but the rest of the week was really nice. I think I'll go back out tomorrow morning, do one last practice flight, and then Wednesday we're taking off for Florida. So, and my other project, I've got a Parrot P47 under construction again. This will be my third one. I started this in 2020 after I retired. Here's the first one I built back in 1980,
Looks good.
yeah.
and it had a Fox 35 in it. But I think it lasted about part of a year. I sold it one time in practice. So I built another one around 2000. This is when I took down to VSC. This one flew much better. It was lighter.
Same engine?
No, this is a Super Tiger 60 here.
Ah,
So, or I'm sorry, a 46, not a 60.
same size as the first one?
Yeah, sure. It's a Parrot
Okay.
copy.
But with a Super Tiger 46.
Yeah. And I still have this one. It's gotten really oil soaked and the controls are really stiff. So I don't fly it anymore, but still hanging down the basement. This is one that Bill Hummel built probably about 15 years ago.
That looks nice.
Yeah.
This is a Brodax about 10 years ago, I think. And he gave it to Dick Carville. Dick finished it. Did all the painting, and then he gave it to Len Harding. And Len kept it in his bedroom. He couldn't fly anymore. And I think when he died, it was still hanging in his bedroom. I don't know what happened to it. I presume it's still around somewhere in New England.
Wow. You know what engine it had in it?
I think this was a Super Tiger 46 as well, but I'm not 100% sure. Anyway, this was one other one that got built, and then this is my current one. I started on this after I retired, and this is in the summer of 2020, and I got the wing done. And then some guy named Keith Throssell says, you should build a Bearcat. So I put the P47 on hold. I thought for a while I could kind of build them in parallel, but the Bearcat was such a project. I just let the P47 sit.
Are those
So that-
cloth hinges?
They're nylon, yeah.
Oh, wow.
I've used nylon hinges on almost all my classic planes. It works really well. You get a good tight joint. You don't need any tape or anything.
Yeah.
And then, so I've gone back to work on it again. Now I got the Bearcat done. So this is the fuselage, the crutch, and the sides. I just got this together a couple days ago. And I glued these blocks in with this new, or not new, but this different cement that's sort of like Ambroid called Fab Tack. It's sold by Aircraft Spruce and Specialty. It's, I think, meant for adhering fabric to airplanes. But like I said, it's very much like Ambroid, except it's really thin.
Hmm.
So I tried to put it in a squeeze applicator, but it's kind of sloppy when you squeeze it out. It just kind of runs. So I ended up using a brush to apply it. That seemed to work pretty well. And
Is that a marble block?
this is, yeah.
Looks like it. Wow, that's good.
I got this idea from Bob Hunt. If you look at some of Bob's old videos on how to build lost foam wings, he uses a marble block like this, and it makes a great flat surface to work on.
Where do you get something like that?
I went to a place that makes marble, actually granite. It's not marble, it's granite, countertops. And they had lots of pieces around, and I picked one out that was about the right size, and they finished cutting it, polished it for me. And the sucker's really heavy. It's harder than heck to get it in the car, get it home, and get it down the basement by myself. But it makes a great work surface. So you can, spill glue and paint and everything else on it. You just take a razor blade and scrape it right off.
Nice.
Anyway, that's where I am right now. And like I said, I'm going to be taking off Wednesday morning, fly down to Fort Myers, and then the following week I'll drive up to Lake City, and I'll be there for the King Orange.
Very good. I have a question for you. Going from a Fox 35 to a Super Tiger 46, did you have to make any changes to the plane?
No, other than the engine compartment.
Look at that. He's still on the trailer, pushing
Wow.
him along.
I mean, the Super Tiger 46 is a really nice running engine. It's got really decent power, but it doesn't overpower.
What size is the wing on that, Mark?
I think it's like 54 inches, 52.
I mean, square inches.
I think it's about 575, something like that.
Wow. Sounds like a lot of motor.
No, that works good.
Yeah, I think it's better to be overpowered than underpowered.
Yeah.
Yeah, especially at the altitude I fly out here.
Yeah.
Well, Gordon, you fly at high altitude too, so.
Yeah, well, when I'm thinking of being nose heavy too, end up have to put tail weight on it.
That's what I was thinking.
Yeah, I haven't had that problem with these airplanes. It's typically been that they're tail heavy,
Oh, okay.
even with the Super Tiger 46. I had the same problem with my Hurricane. It turned out to be nose heavy, even with the Super Tiger 46 on the front.
Yeah, my last Heinz it's 585, and I was flying it with the Brodeck 40 and had a lot of power. I spent a whole day trying to get rid of some of the power.
Anyway, that's what I've been up to.
Thank you very much. Let me just catch up with the chat box. Daniel Berry Sports Highlight says, hey. And then Gary Sinclair, he's a monitor and a member of our YouTube channel. He said, like provided. And then Philip Bailey, he provides with a like. And Marcel Legrand says, hi, Charles, and everyone at Stunt School. And Philip Bailey says, it was funny. Moderator Mike malfunction. Yeah. Yeah, it was funny when I couldn't say anything for almost an hour. So let me see here. Did we get to did I get to you, John Miller, already?
Yeah.
All right. So let's go with Jonathan Carradas. Hey, Jonathan. How's your hurricane coming along?
Oh, I'm working on the engine cradle at the moment today, and I'll go back and have another crack at that after the show today, and I'll probably fire it up as soon as my mate's made the Venturi for that going, and the exhaust system's been made, the tongue. Bryce has done a very good job of that, and yeah, so that's just going slow. We didn't fly this weekend. Nobody flew because it was terribly wet on Saturday, and then of course it blew like mad on Sunday. It was hurricane force winds out here, did a lot of damage. Not up here, but further down the line.
Oh, sorry to hear that.
Yeah, so yeah, just so I can hardly wait till summer gets here, if it ever gets here.
Now, did you say engine bridle? Did you say that earlier? Did I hear you correctly? Did you say engine bridle? Did you say that earlier?
Engine you know, the bracket that holds the engine. What do you call it? The cradle, yeah. The
Cradle? Is that what you said? Okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
Very cool. Very cool.
I was going to ask Mark too, was that tank that you're putting in that new model, Mark, is that your own tank? Are you making that yourself? It looked like you had quite a long breather sticking out of it already.
Yes, I did. Yeah, that's my own.
And will that run on pressure? There'll be a pressure tank, will it?
No, it's a uniflow. So it'll have pressure from the muffler.
Can,
Yeah,
The
okay.
uniflow vent.
can we see it again?
Sure.
Yeah, what's that long tube sticking up?
Oh, that's the overflow. Because it's upside down right now.
Or yeah, okay.
When I flip it over, that'll be hanging out the bottom. I'll probably shorten it up a little bit, and I'll put a bracket across here to reinforce it.
So you're just gonna have it come out the bottom block
Yeah,
instead of the side?
yeah.
Okay.
I've set most of my airplanes up like that. It seems to work pretty well. You solder this at the bottom as well at the entry point here. And we have it, a good rigid mount to the tank.
And there's a uniflow tube that we can't see.
Yeah, there's another uniflow tube over here behind the cylinder head. You can't see it right here.
Yeah, okay.
And then the other thing I do that you can't see, this is a Keith Trossel mount. The screws go down through these tubes.
Yeah, I noticed that.
Which allows you to adjust the height. You see I got the slots here so I can move it up and down.
Yeah.
Those go
And I
tank?
also build the back end about 1/8 of an inch wider in the front with the bevel to the outside. That way you get all the fuel kind of runs down the bottom and you can do a good cutoff loop when you get down on the fuel and cut it off if you want to, which I like to do because some days when it's windy, you want to be able to control which side of the circle you're landing on.
That'd be
Yeah.
nice.
Did
So
you say
those-
Did you say the
Those-
tank's wider or deeper?
It's wider.
Okay.
And those bolts go through the tank?
Yeah, this is a 3/16 inch copper tube. It has about a 1/8 inch internal diameter.
And that's soldered?
And yeah, it's soldered to the tank top and bottom.
Okay,
And then you put a 440 bolt through that, and then you can't see it here, but the space between the engine bearers has got a 1/2 inch balsa cross grain piece to help dampen vibration. And I drill into that and I put in a hardwood dowel, and then I drill into the hardwood dowel.
and
And
that
put it-
allows you to adjust it up and down?
Yeah, I've got a spacer. You put a number of spacers in here. I start out with about 1/4 of an inch. It goes under the tank. It's not in here right now.
Now, does that spacer go full length or is it front and back? Two
No,
separate?
it goes full length. It's got 2 big holes in it to match up with the bolts.
And
Mark, can-
what do the bolts go into?
Well, like I said, there's a 1/2 inch piece of balsa that's cross grained epoxy between the engine mounts. And I drill down into that about 1/2 inch diameter, and I put in a 1/2 inch diameter dowel
Oh, okay,
to give me some hardwood. And then I drill down through the hardwood dowel with a clearance hole for the 440 bolt, and I drill out the bottom a little bit for the T-nut, and I put the T-nut on it would be the top, but it's the bottom as you look at it here. And so the bolt goes all the way through this tank, through that 1/2 inch piece of balsa, or that dowel actually. And that's where the T-nut is that holds it.
okay. And then that mechanism, how much does that reduce the capacity of the tank?
Very little.
Little?
I mean, these are 3/16 inch diameter.
Nothing. Yeah.
There's 2 of them.
Okay.
So it's a small fraction of an ounce, I think.
Just put a coil in the fuel line.
Well, I'm
And
careful
what
to
about-
try to, I'm careful to try to make sure I have enough tank and I make the engine compartment big enough and that I can remove the tank. Takes a little thinking to make sure you don't screw it up.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah,
Mark, have you got plywood? Have you got plywood? Spanning between the 2 bearers?
Yeah,
Or
right
is it
here.
just-
This
No,
is the
I
front
mean,
piece.
no, I mean a flat piece. Yeah.
It goes down between the bearers. You can't see it here.
Yeah.
And then this is a back piece here.
Yes, but do you have a piece running like where you got the 1/2 inch, I think you said, or
Yeah,
1/4 inch balsa between the bearers?
No,
Have you
there's
got
no
plywood
there's no
sandwich?
plywood back here, but this is a plywood cradle here that the engine sits in, another 1/8 of an inch all around the engine.
On top of the bearers.
Yes.
Oh, that's interesting. Okay, now does that 1/8 of an inch plywood run all the way back to that?
No,
Well-
it stops right here at this
Stops at the
bulkhead.
firewall. Okay, right.
This firewall
just-
goes all the way down between the bearers.
Can you describe the timber you've used for your doublers there and your side of your fuselage? Have you got any plywood in there, or is that just
No, this is 1/8 inch balsa doubled and epoxy.
doubled 1/8 of an inch balsa?
Yeah,
Is
2
one
pieces
of
of
those
1/8
pretty
inch.
hard? Is one of those pretty hard balsa?
Not particularly,
Okay.
but epoxy between them, and that adds a lot of rigidity
Yeah.
to it.
Stiffens them up.
But this is how I built my last 2, and it's the way Parrott did it. He didn't use plywood for engine mounts. He doubled balsa wood.
Yeah. Oh, very good. And what's the motor you got there?
This is
46
Super Tiger
volt?
46.
So will that have a tongue or a chamber?
Yeah,
Like a,
there'll be a tongue muffler over here.
yeah.
I haven't cut it out yet for the muffler seal.
Yes.
And then same thing.
I'm fascinated because this is the stage I'll be at tomorrow, probably. Or, close to it, messing around. Yeah. I've put plywood doublers both sides, very thin. It's in millimeters. It would be
16th of an inch.
oh, look, it'd be 1.5 mil stuff. It's something like that. Real thin. I'm running that up each side. And I'm wondering if I shouldn't put some more, another laminated with 16th or something, but I think it'll be enough actually, because I'm building the rest of the cradle fairly strongly. I'm going to add plywood between the,
Yeah, 1.5 millimeter plywood is 16th of an inch. It's 0.059, so you're pretty close to 16th there.
yeah.
I use 1/32. 032.
And what do you use, Gordon, with the 1/32? What do you have? Two layers of balsa, one each side, or anything like that,
No.
or is it just?
No, I just use glue the 1/32 to the outside to the fuselage sides.
Which would be what normally for you? What would you use on the outside fuselage?
Just 1/8 inch.
Okay. Oh well, I'm probably getting a bit overbuild. I'm wondering. I think, yeah, because it's all extra weight. If I overbuild, it's extra weight. I need to.
Another thing you could do would be just put carbon fiber between these two as well. That might stiffen it up
Yeah.
even some more if you're worried about
Yeah.
vibration.
Yeah.
I have
Yeah.
a question.
I worried about that a lot on my Bearcat, but this is very similar to how I built my Bearcat. And in terms of the plywood cradle here and the engine bearers and the balsa between the engine bearers. And so
Right.
far that's been working just fine. So
Don't you get into trouble if you mess around with carbon these days? Trading carbon.
Oh, I have a question for you, Mark. On the tank shims, do you take the tank out to put the shims in, or do you have a slot in the center of the shims, or you do two different?
yeah, you
shims
just lift it. You just unbolt the tank and lift it out and change the shim.
Okay, so the shim has a slot in the center.
Well, it has two holes for the bolt holes to go through.
Okay.
And I coat it with resin, polyester resin.
Okay.
And let it cure really well. I did one when I didn't let it cure well, and I put it in there. It turned out it was a permanent installation.
I think Stuart has a question. Stuart Morrison.
Well, it's actually not related to this. I got a paint question. Brodak's paint. Do you have to use? There's a primer. Is it necessary to use the primer on the Brodak paints before you put the Brodak?
No.
No.
Okay, good. That's unanimous. I'm gonna start painting. That's all I need for now. Thanks.
Well, before you go, have you been doing any flying, Stuart? Any?
Yeah, I did today. I went out and did some RC. I did 4 flights of that, and then I also did 2 on the Pathfinder. So it was all right. It was a nice day here. We've had 4 nice, really nice days. So it was great. So
have you heard from Lynn Burrell?
no, I think they'll be back. I'm not sure. They might not be back till tomorrow sometime. So I'll be here from them then, or probably tomorrow night or
Yeah, what's the outcome of the Canadian trials? Who's going to go to the
I
Worlds
haven't
for
heard
Canada?
anything. I haven't heard anything about it. So
I can tell you.
All right, tell us, Jim.
So the top 3 were Constantine, Bruce Perry, and Chris Cox, and Monty Sumac is the alternate.
Oh, okay.
That's what I was posted on Stunthangar, or I got a bunch of emails on it too.
Thank you, Jim. Appreciate it. And let me get to Gary. Matter of fact,
And Len did great, by the way.
Lynn did great.
He did. He had a very high score. Good on Len.
Yep.
Oh, very
Oh,
good.
that's good. Good.
So Gary Sinclair, how you doing, Gary?
Pretty good.
I'm going to post the new picture of the calendar for this month. Let me get that up shortly here. And while I'm looking for that, let me, I think, I'm not sure who came in after you, Gary. It might have been Tryon. Tryon, how you doing? What's going on with you?
Oh, everything is fine here. I started a new endeavor.
Oh, what's that?
So I was in talks with some people in a weekend school around here. And I just started a new class for modular airplane building, and I have my first 5 students.
Oh, fantastic. Now, did
So-
you have to get like licensed or certified or bonded or anything to do that?
No, this is like a private thing with a private school, and they do their thing, right?
Right.
And it's extracurricular activities for kids generally. So they have math classes, dance classes, chess classes, coding classes with electronics and stuff like that. So just a whole variety of stuff. And I knew somebody that actually, Sava's mom, she works over there. I said, why don't you come here and teach our kids? I said, sure, why not? Let's give it a try. So that's what I'm playing with in the next project.
Very good. Very good. Let me see here. 1 second here. I'm going to share the calendar. Just give me 1 second here. There we go. We get the mouse set up here. And screen share. And let's see here. All right. Can you guys see that?
Yep.
Yeah.
So we have Philip Bailey, upper left-hand corner, with his stunt wagon. And then we have Bob Whitley up in Canada with his Vector 40 profile with the LA 46. And then I wonder whose biplane is that? Is that yours, Philip? Or well, Philip's not here yet. I saw Philip in the chat. That's probably Philip's biplane as well. That's a 38 special. So now we have a calendar coming up next year, right, Gary?
Well, we're trying it.
So we need to get some pictures, I imagine, and some donations going. But let's get some pictures to Gary Sinclair. We prefer to have a picture with you holding your plane, if possible, as opposed to just a plane by itself. But yeah, it's October, and it does take time to set it up. So I guess they can PM you on the Stunthangar forum, and you can communicate and get the email that way. We don't want to pass out the email here. You might get all kinds of junk that way. So, but yeah, keep it in mind to get your pictures ready. And so, Wayne, that's also available too. Wayne, I know you're new to our Hangouts, but this is what we do every year. We have a calendar, and I try to remember to show the current month of that month who's in it. And a lot of us have been in the calendar. They're very nice. So I'll stop sharing now, and just give me a second here. All right, so we're back to what we was doing, and I think Mike Lonke came in shortly after somebody. Hey, Mike, good to see you again, man. Great.
How's it going, guys?
Doing well. How you doing?
Doing well. Hinging a Pathfinder ARF.
All right.
Slamming one together for the King Orange. I needed a decent profile to take to King Orange because all the profiles I have in the shop are pretty war torn. So I thought I'd take a new one down there. So I'm doing that. I saw Mark. If you don't mind, I think Mark Gerber, you and I are going to be flying the same airplane down there at King Orange. I need to borrow Will's SV11 to fly in Nostalgia 30.
Okay, that works.
Yeah, I don't have a Nostalgia 30 airplane, and Will's got that SV. So I talked to him last week. He said, "Well, Mark's going to be flying it. You all can share it." And I said, "Well, okay, I'll promise I won't wreck it. Or there is the possibility, Wayne Smith has loaned me his Cavalier in the past to fly N-30. So maybe I'll fly Wayne's airplane. Maybe I'll fly Will's. I'd be more comfortable flying the SV-11 because it's I've had a couple of those and I'm better with that.
I'm sure. Well, yeah, Dick Carville also offered me an airplane, but he didn't say which one.
Okay, well, that's good. Dick Carville's coming to King Orange too, huh?
Yeah, well, he moved to Florida.
Oh, very good.
So he lives probably only an hour's drive from there, I think, north of Tampa somewhere.
There's been quite a bit of chatter on the groups about King Orange. I think we might have a better turnout than we've had the last 2 or 3 years there. Of course, the last 3 were well, last year was not COVID, but the 2 before were COVID years, so the turnout was a little bit low. It picked up a little bit last year, but I think maybe this year I've been seeing more guys posting, talking about coming to it. So looking
my
forward
wife
to
said
it.
we needed to go visit the grandkids, and I thought that was a good idea. And I looked at the schedule for the King Orange and picked out the 2 weeks that straddled the King Orange, so I'll be there.
Well, Mark, there's nothing better than flying into a contest and showing up and having equipment there that you can fly, man. You feel like a rock star when you just roll in and somebody gives you an airplane to use. You know, it's that's a good feeling. You know,
It's hard to hold your breath for 7 minutes, though.
yeah. It's not that bad. It's not that bad.
But I've done that at Brodax too. Dick Carville, and before him, Dick Woolsey would bring me airplanes to fly if I wasn't able to drive out. And we did that several years.
Yeah, I used to not like borrowing airplanes. It's always, it kind of puts your nerves on end and you're nervous about flying someone else's plane and whatnot. And that was the whole reason I bought the Axioma a couple of years ago, because I had to borrow an airplane when I went to Vegas every time, you know. I figure if I'm going to pile one in, it might as well be mine, not somebody else's, you know. Right. But it is nice that people are willing to extend that courtesy.
I would like to ship an airplane to my son and they could keep it in his garage down there. But even shipping an airplane is horrendously expensive, as far as I can tell.
How fast of a builder are you, Mark? Can you build one while you're down there? You know?
No, probably not.
Well, you could always, if
I get an ARF, maybe I could throw it together.
Pick an ARF up and assemble it while you're there, and yeah, that'd be a great way to do it. So,
but my son has no tools. He didn't inherit my aptitude for doing woodworking, model airplane building.
I'm glad you're coming to King Orange. I'm looking forward to seeing you down there.
Yeah, it'll be fun.
Go old school. All you need is the tools you can fit in a small briefcase.
Yeah, look you. Isn't Knoll in the Falls going on right now, isn't it? Joe Knoll in the Fall?
I don't know. Anybody know about that?
Yeah, I think it's or it just finished. I think maybe it finished yesterday.
Anybody from the Southeast on here?
No, Will Davis. I think Will was there. Mark would have been there for sure.
What about Phil Bailey?
Yeah, Phil probably would have went. Phil probably would have went because that's real close for him as well. I heard Jim Hoffman was talking about Len. Len finished 5th at the Canadian team trials. He was just one spot out from being an alternate, so he was 5th.
Wow. And 78.84 points is all he was behind. And Monty's a tough cookie to beat.
The other Canadian, our friend Pat McKenzie, who Sam and I fly combat with. We fly combat with him up at the Detroit contest and at the Nats as well. Pat and Ivan McKenzie. Pat was 6th, right behind Len Burrell. And I didn't even know Pat was a stunt flyer. I didn't know he even flew stunt. I only know him from F2D combat and other combat events. But I saw, it looked like most of the guys there had take apart stunt planes And I saw a picture with Pat with a really nice take apart plane, and I was really surprised. I never knew that about him. I didn't know he flew stunt. So
Very cool.
Yeah.
So
We had a
regarding
good
your-
turnout. There was, I think, 10 or 12 competing.
yeah, I think about that 10. I think from the number I saw, and they said they had good weather. Chris Cox posted a bunch of stuff about it.
Yeah, there's a whole bunch on our website, or on our Facebook site also. The Alberta
Oh, on
Controlling.
Alberta, yeah, that's where I've been getting my info. So
Yeah.
well, I'm going to jump back on this Pathfinder. I got to get a little bit done because I do need to fly this airplane because the contest starts a week from Friday. So I don't have much time to get this thing. Plus, I'm also putting this together for Russ Graves. Russ Graves is a combat guy that I know from the Nats, and he lives in Florida. And he expressed interest into coming up to King Orange, but he said he didn't have a stunt plane. So I'm going to be bringing 2 airplanes for Russ to fly. So that'll be cool. Another guy that has never been to the KOI showing up to fly stunt. We're getting a little.
What are you gonna power your Pathfinder with?
This.
Let me make it big here. Let's see here.
That is it's an LA-46
Oh, LA.
with Brian Gardner internals.
Nice.
And a Randy Smith PA needle and a Jim Lee Venturi. Yeah.
Have you run it yet?
Say again?
Mike, have you run it yet?
Yeah, Sam's been flying this motor on his Vector for the last 2 years on his Vector 40 profile that his BOM plane that he's flown at the Nats for the last 2 years. I robbed it off of the bones, the carnage, the wreckage of his Vector. Because I don't know if you guys know the story, but Sam whacked his airplane at the Nats this year. He
Oh.
put another one in on the L pad and totaled it.
So that motor hit the blacktop?
No. It went in flat. It went in
Okay.
flat. Yeah, no, the motor's
Yeah, I
not
remember
damaged.
seeing the pieces laying there, and
Yeah, so he put up his first flight. So junior, senior open day, he put up his first flight, did pretty well. On his second flight, he smacked the pavement on his inside loops of all things. He just, bing, and kind of broke the nose off the airplane a little bit. So myself, Tom Luciano, and George Waters, Alan Buck's friends, we did a quick field repair in between round 2 and 3 for the junior senior fly off. Sam went up and put up his third flight, did great, improved his score, and cinched first place for junior. He won, junior at the Nats. And then he went up for his Walker Cup flight. Of course, the junior flies, the senior flies, and the open guy flies. And when Sam came out of the reverse wing over, the wings folded, pow, that was it. So he got no score on his Walker Cup flight because the airplane folded in half. But the important thing was the airplane held together well enough on his third flight for junior that he was able to edge out the other junior and win that. But yeah, that motor's got, I don't know, it's got 100 flights on it. It's really coming in.
And then he picked up a Werwich P47 in time for the picture.
He did, yeah. Mark Weiss was generous enough to loan Sam an airplane for the photo op so that he didn't have to hold the wreckage of a broken airplane in the picture with his trophy. Yes, that is correct. He's holding Billy Warridge's P47.
I saw that picture. I thought, boy, that's a nice looking airplane. I didn't realize he had that. And then
No,
it dawned on me.
No, that was a
one that
loan.
Mark had, and he loaned it.
We didn't have any other airplane that he had built, and I just think it would have looked really bad if he was holding a pile of busted up airplane for his photograph,
No, you just made me real jealous, Mike.
Why is that?
Having those Brian Gardner guts in that LA-46 on the profile Vector. Now you've one up me, and I've got to get the Brian Gardner kit for my Vector.
Well, that's one of 5 Gardner 46s that I have. I have 4 more that
Nice.
have never, they're all assembled, but none of them have been put on the bench yet. None of them are broken in. But I'll
Yeah,
tell
I've
you
got
what,
3 of this.
it purrs like a kitten, man, and it's got a good solid brake on it, and it's economical. It'll do the pattern with like 3.8 ounces of fuel, 3.75 somewhere in there. We put 4 on it, you know, just to cover it, but that's plenty.
Wow. Yeah,
and
I've got
I'm-
3 of his 60 conversions coming, and when he gets around to building them, I think I got 2 or 3 of the Super Tiger 35 stunt conversions on order.
Do you remember all those 12.5 rev ups I had that I was selling to everybody for a long time?
You mean the 30 I've got?
Yeah. So I'm running that prop cut down to 11 on that motor. So it's 11.5 rev up wood wide blade, and it's a great prop with Brian's setup. So I was just getting a text from Steve McBride. I was asking Steve if he was going to come on tonight because I wanted to tell him at Canton, Georgia, a couple weeks ago, raffle day came, and Will Davis was there on Saturday, but he didn't stick around Sunday. And I go up to the raffle table, and Will Davis cleaned house. I mean, he cleaned house. He won a $50 Brodak gift certificate. He won an ESC and like 4 Cuban timers. He won the grand prize of that.
Wow.
He got a gift certificate for $50 from Jim Lee. So I'm driving home, and I called Will, and I told him about all the swag that he won. And he said, man, just take that $50 gift certificate and donate it to the Las Vegas Stunt Challenge. So they got some prizes for their raffle.
Oh,
So,
nice.
so Will is donating his Brodak gift certificate to Stephen and Ruben for their contest.
Good show.
And then I'm going to provide 2 $50 gift certificates for the contest as well. I don't have any kits or engines that I really want to part with. Last year I donated a kit and a Randy Smith LA46, but I don't have anything I'm crazy about getting rid of. So I'm just going to send some Brodak gift certificates for that.
Nice. Very nice. Well, thank you, Mike. Thank you.
Generous of you, Mike.
What was that, John?
So that's generous of you, Mike.
Yeah, it is.
I wish
Thank
you
you,
could
John.
part with one of those Gardner LA46s.
I don't think I'm ever going to do that. I mean, I don't know that I need 5 really, but
Hey, you never know, and I'm just poking at the tiger a little bit there, but
yeah, no, I understand. You know, I got a kid that's still flying, so he's going to need stuff down. You know, when I'm gone, he's going to need to be able to go in a box and pull out a good stunt motor and have one. So that's kind of my thinking there. So
Well, no matter how good Brian makes them, they're eventually going to wear out.
Good point. Let me move on to, I think Wayne Rice might have been next. Hey, Wayne, go ahead and unmute your mic.
How's that?
Yeah, very good. How you doing?
I'm doing real well, Good to see everybody.
Yeah. Made any
Hey,
progress?
Wayne, welcome to Stunthangar. I didn't get a chance to get on the other night to say hello to you. So
Thank you
you're in
very
with a
much.
good
I
crowd.
appreciate it. Thank you.
You any questions for
I
anybody?
like this. I enjoy this a lot. Pardon me?
You have any questions for anybody?
Well, I went flying Saturday, if you want to call it that.
Yeah.
I took 2 planes there, and I brought 2 planes home in one piece. I guess that was the best part of it.
Absolutely. That's really good.
That was after 3 very hard landings. I got an S1 ringmaster that it will not fly level. I don't know. It's got to be the stabilizer. I busted the fuselage. I made a new fuselage, put it on. Everything is zero everywhere. I got to adjust the heck out of my handle. I can't figure out. I've been doing this a while. I understand how this works, but it's got me this time. I don't know. Got
Where's
brand
the
new engine
CG?
on it. I don't want to crash that again.
What was that, Jim Hoffman?
Where's the center of gravity of your ringmaster?
Ooh. I might want to check that, huh? I haven't done that, I guess, and I know better. I haven't done that. Yeah, it's definitely, as you guys call it, it's hunting. There's no doubt about that. It's up. I find neutral on the handle. That thing's going up. I pull her back down. Then it wants pulling neutral. Then it wants to go down. Something ain't right there.
You need some nose weight.
Go for 10% behind the leading edge.
Okay, all right. And another thing, I was hearing Sparky talk the other day, whatever it was. You guys are on zero offset on your rudders. That blows me away. I thought you had to run that.
No.
Yeah,
Do you
I
have
wouldn't put
adjustable
any more than
lead-outs on
5
that
degrees
wing?
in a rudder.
I don't
Wayne, do you
think
have
I
adjustable
got more
lead-outs?
than that. No,
Getting-
never fixed.
Getting the CG right is 1,000 times more important than anything with the rudder, including taking the rudder off.
Yep.
I
If everything's
have,
straight, it's flying away from the circle anyway.
I got the motor offset. All right, I'll work on that center of gravity then. Thank you.
And Mike Lonke has his hand raised. And thank you very much, Mike. That really does help keep us from stepping on each other's words. So if you have a question or you want to get into the conversation, hit the button to raise your hand and I'll see it. And if I don't see it, let me know. All right, Mike Lonke, what's your question or comment?
Well, just real quick, I don't want to go into too much now, but for those of you that are veterans or anything, I have a really cool story here I'll share in the after party about our family bringing home a World War II veteran this weekend who was MIA POW for 80 years, and we brought him home yesterday. Wow. And I will share that story in the after party. I don't want to take up any time on the show, but for those of you that are vets or are interested in hearing a story about a soldier coming home that was a family member of ours, I'll share that in the after party.
Thank you very much, Mike. All right, very good. And Gordon. Yes, Gordon.
I forgot to brighten everybody's day today and put smiles on their faces. We had a snowstorm today.
Snowstorm?
Yeah. All the ski resorts got snows today.
Wow.
Oh, up in the mountains. Oh, yeah.
Yep. It rained here all day, but the mountains got snow.
All right.
Fabulous.
Yeah, we had that in Colorado too.
Yes.
And way up here in the frozen north, we don't have it yet. We're still above freezing.
See how you are?
And let me see here. I think Carl Reed came in. Carl, is your mic working any better or not? You can shake your head.
Yes, it is.
All right, it is.
Yes,
Absolutely.
it is working. Yeah, I had a friend that lives across the street that's an IT guy, and he was able to fix the problem. So I'm doing good. I do have a question for the group, though, if that's okay.
Yeah, go ahead.
As I said a few weeks ago, I was given some RC engines. Can't remember what the name of them are. Hang on a minute. Oh, it's my mind blew a blank. Charles, remember that motor I showed you at the flying field on Friday?
I am.
Oh, Magnum. It was a Magnum. Yeah, it was a Magnum. Anyway, I was given the Magnum 40 XL and the Magnum 46 XL. They're RC engines. but I took them both apart and refurbished them and got them to turn over real nice. Good compression of both motors. But the problem is on the 40XL, I think it sustained a bad crash or someone tried to take it apart, and when they went to go pull the drive or the prop nut off the shaft, because it's pressed onto the shaft, they broke it. And I went on the internet to see if I can find and buy another one, and they're non-existent as far as my research has done. So if any of you or you have any RC pilots that have these parts laying around, I'd be more than happy to take it and even pay for it if any of you know who might have one. And that's the dilemma on the XL40. So
You might put an ad on the out that you're looking for one as a parts engine. You know, you pick them up pretty cheap and put it on the classified, things like that, various boards around. Someone might have one.
All right.
Have you put a request in at RC Model Groups, Carl?
No, I haven't. I like I said, I didn't know where to go from my research, but I certainly will do that. Is it
because
just
they
going,
have one heck of a classifieds in that site.
Okay, what's it called?
RC Model Groups.
Okay, all right. Just go on YouTube and type in RC Model Groups.
I guess so, or just Google and pop it up.
Or Google, yeah, Google's what I meant. Yeah. Okay. Well, thanks. That gives me a few more ideas. Thank you.
Oh, you're welcome, Carl. Thanks.
I'm trying to take these RC motors and I'm going to try and convert them to line control motors. That'd be the next step if I can make up a Venturi and needle valve assembly for them. So that would be the next challenge. But without that prop drive, that aluminum collar that goes on the shaft on the 40, if I can't find one, and then the motor's useless. So.
Yeah.
Well, they make good control line motors. So.
Pardon?
They make good control line motors, those Magnums.
Oh, okay.
Hey, Carl.
If you can't find a prop drive, Carl, why don't you look at modifying a different prop drive? Fill in the hubs, find somebody with a lathe or a miller and just fill in another prop hub and mill it to match and press that on.
Another place you could look, Carl, is on Facebook. Go to there's an area that's called groups, and then you have to join the groups. But they if you go into search RC, you'll get a lot of guys that come up on clubs or not clubs or their groups on RC, and you can join those, and it works pretty good because I've gotten some stuff from that type of avenue.
Oh, okay. All right. Well, getting back to who was it that mentioned to modify another prop drive?
That was
just look into taking any kind of a similar hub that to the OD to your crankshaft, I'd suggest, and the rest of it really doesn't matter. And hopefully the prop shaft area will be smaller on your donor one, but if not, just weld it in. Find a machinist or buddy or whatever, trade him some favors, get him a bottle of whiskey, whatever, to fill it in and put it on a milling machine and or lathe and mill it to match.
Okay. All right.
The barter system goes a long way in these hobbies.
Oh yeah. I've done that quite a few times in my plumbing career. So, all right.
Very cool.
I'll take the whiskey.
You'll take a whiskey. So Tryon, I saw you with your glider. Did the glider come out all right?
Awesome, man. This thing is awesome. Look at that.
Let me make it bigger here. Hang on a second.
Oh, cute.
Oh, very nice.
So it has a fuselage. You see, it's a triangular shape.
Oh, wow, that's interesting.
So it makes it rigid. It's not bowing around.
Right.
I just folded the leading edge, if you can see there.
Boy, the glare is pretty bad.
There we are.
That's cool.
How
Yeah,
can I
very
make it
cool.
so you can see it better?
So did you test fly it yet, Ryan?
Yeah, I just did. Flies beautiful.
Gonna put some lines on it now?
Yeah, that's in the
Super
future. We're gonna start here, then we're gonna probably go to do a Delta Dart, start to build some frames and stuff like that with them. And then I'm
I
gonna
was
get
gonna
them in
ask
the
if
free
this is a
flight
prototype.
gliders, where we learn how to make like we do in the elevators, the structure, right? Help with the sticks and have them some cross sticks and cover them and stuff like that, and just advance into more complex stuff.
Oh, this isn't a plug for a production mold for new carbon fiber ones?
You're funny. This is just a cardboard plane, I took it like I went to dollar store and I just hacked something up, I just made my templates just now. I have my templates here.
Yeah.
Wow, it's hard to see because of the light, I think, in your garage.
Yeah, I have the lights right above the computer. Maybe
you got some LED lights in your garage? Man, they are bright.
Yeah, that's it. So.
Oh, there we go. Now we see it.
So you can see like how it folds up, right?
Yeah, very neat.
Okay, and this is a simple elevator template. Rudder is the same. And I have a wing template here, which is no big deal. I mean, just a half a wing template. Anyways, doesn't matter. But it's very nice. I mean, it looks good. It has nice proportions and flies great. Heck,
very
all
nice.
I had to do I give it a tiny bit of up elevator here, and after that, perfect.
If it was swept forward, it'd remind me of the K6s and K7s I used to fly back in Germany.
No, this is straight.
I know, but if it was swept forward, looking at your tail, it's very
yeah.
similar to the old
the
sleepers.
tail. I got it. This is almost like a Mitsubishi Zero Tail, isn't it?
Kind of,
Almost, yeah.
A little bit fatter at the tip, but because I'm looking at a Zero right now when I look to the side.
So, anyways, it's fun stuff. I mean, I just hack it up now.
Very nice. Let me see. I think Jim Hoffman hasn't really had a chance to talk about his activities.
Oh, okay. Well, I did. I flew yesterday. I flew an old-time airplane on glow. So we had an interesting thing happen. I mixed my own fuel, so I blended a little fuel the night before. And the morning of, maybe 12 hours later, I see a puddle on the garage floor. I put it into an old plastic jug, and about half of it bled out onto the floor.
Oh, no.
All right, great. So I drive to Tucson, took a flight with it, and it ran okay. The engine was 4-stroke the whole way, ran nice. And so the next flight, I said, I want to go a little bit quicker. I brought the RPM up maybe 200 RPM. And this is an old time airplane. And then the first time I did a maneuver that loaded the motor much, it strained. I could see it wasn't running normally. So I abandoned the pattern. And I thought about it and I said, maybe that fuel, when it's leaking out of, the tiny porosity out of a plastic jug, maybe the oil the oil's more viscous, and maybe the methanol and nitro leak out faster than the oil.
Yeah.
I don't know. Who knows? So anyhow, I borrowed a tank full of known good fuel from Lou, same blend, and it ran like a champ. So that was interesting. That was a little bit of science there.
Yeah, absolutely.
So that was so I flew. I'm not going to have much time to fly before Golden State, but so I got the old timer running, flying fine. So I'll as long as I get a practice flight the day before, I'll be good. So that was my flying experience this week.
Very good. Very good. I have a question for the whole gallery. I was talking to Bob Whitley recently, and I was telling him I would like to fly classic at a contest, but I really want a big airplane. And he goes, "Well, a Shark 45 would be good." I have a kit for a Gypsy, but I think that's 56-inch wingspan, and the Shark is bigger. And I was just wondering, has anybody flown both of those planes? Do they have any ideas of which one's better?
I've flown the Shark in the original Jetco kit.
Right, that's what I have, a Jetco kit.
It flew really good.
I remember seeing Dave Sabon's jet. I mean, he must have had a couple Sharks. I never flew in him, but I remember seeing Dave Sabon flying him. But I do have a Gypsy kit that could be classic legal as well, but it's not quite as big.
Well, that stuff that dates upon is not even the Shark. That was drawn up by a fellow modeler, and they took off about 1.5 inches off the wingtip on the cord. They moved the high point. They moved the spars. They widened the fuselage. Put the PA-60s in them. And all the changes, I would call that a legal Shark.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that would make it illegal, right?
Well, Dave probably didn't know. He just got the kit and started building them. And Jim Rhodes is the one that I flew. He built one that was straight. And he had a Jetco kit and the RSM kit, and started comparing the plans, and they weren't even close. You know, to me, that was too many modifications. If they changed the rudder, that's one thing, but changing the width of the fuselage, taking 1 inch or more out of the wingtip, changing the airfoil high point, you know, to me, that's not a stock Shark.
Okay.
Yeah, to me with mine, the only mod I'm going to consider is
I see
maybe a
you,
different
Jim.
canopy.
What was that, Bob?
The only mod I consider on mine is when I get around to finishing it, it'd be maybe a different canopy. Otherwise, stock
Absolutely.
Shark with a Tiger 51 in it.
Yeah, perfect.
I think Jim Hoffman, I think he's going to show us something, I believe. Or
Well,
tell us.
I wanted to speak to your question, Charles.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
I hear so many questions about, is this design better than that design? And my experience is all these designs are pretty good. The difference between good flying airplanes and the other airplanes is how accurately it's straight it's built, how it's powered, and how it's trimmed. The design ranks below every one of those things.
Yep.
So build the one you like. And if you like a big classic airplane, I point at the USA 1 as another option.
Excellent choice, Jim.
Yeah, I already have the Shark, and it'd be cheaper to build the Shark than build a USA 1. But I do like USA 1s, how they look. And I really like Jim Rhodes Apteryx. Yeah, that's really sharp.
That's
Build what you want.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
Charles, mine's an Apteryx, but I put a USA rudder on it.
Oh, interesting. Okay.
Jim and I they're identical airframes other than the rudder. I didn't like the rudder on the Apteryx, so I cut it off and put a USA rudder on it. And then everybody called the USA 1 with the cheater airfoil.
Now, I do have Super Tiger 51s and Super Tiger 60s. And I do have a K77, which is about the same weight as a 60.
I have a PA-61 in mine.
Okay. I don't have a PA-61, but I have those 3 motors I mentioned.
Yeah, that'll work.
What was that, Gordon?
I say that'll all work.
All righty.
Gordon, on a related note, I got a question. The apteryx, did that come from the historical terminology for the bird, or did that come from the BC cartoons of the day when there was always this bird come zooming up to identify itself as an apteryx?
Oh, that was from the bird. Jim has an apteryx on the side of his fuselage. Ugly bird.
Because I remember the old BC cartoons where the bird would come zooming up and identify itself as a wingless bird with hairy feathers.
Yep.
And I think
So-
we caught up with him, with the exception of Lynn Burrell. And Lynn Burrell, congratulations! I heard you barely missed from being an alternative. That's great.
I wasn't that close. I flew okay.
Well,
I had a good time.
BS 78.86 points, Lynn. I looked at it.
I haven't even looked at the scores. I never saw
Yeah,
them.
you were only 78.86 behind Monty, and that takes some doing, buddy. You did good.
Oh, okay.
And that's
Right.
adding 2 scores
There we
together,
go.
right? That difference.
Yep. Yep.
Yeah, I didn't get the scores.
Yeah,
That's all
don't
good.
humble
I had
yourself
fun.
there, my
I had a
friend.
good time. I had a good time. It was a good time. I enjoyed it. The guys were good. It's good to hang out with them. It was a good time.
Very good, Lynn.
It was
That's
a very good time. Yeah, I enjoyed it. It was
just
a
your
good
first
contest.
time going to the team trials.
No, it was probably about my 7th or 8th.
All right. Well, ninth is a charm then.
Oh no, I don't know. We'll never know. Anything's possible.
Yeah. Just
But yeah,
So you proved
I had a
yourself
good time. It was
both a
fun.
builder and a flyer.
Yeah, it was a good time. I enjoyed it.
Well, thanks for coming in. I know you said I'll see you in a
Not a
couple
problem.
weeks. So I appreciate it.
You betcha.
Let me catch up on the chat box, as I haven't been caught up. Tom Ramel gave us a like. Thank you very much, Tom. Appreciate that. And I think the name is pronounced Yoan. And it says it's looking good. I think that must have been regarding someone's airplane. I'm not sure which one, but thank you, Yoan. And then Mark Lumen, who is a member of our YouTube channel. We only have 2 members in our chat box. That's Gary Sinclair and Mark Lumen. These are people who support us, and we appreciate it. He says, got your like, watching tonight, and he gave us 2 thumbs up. Thank you very much, Mark. Appreciate it. And I have a question for Wayne. What was you holding up? I saw a set of plans, I think. What was that?
I'm sorry, what was that?
He was holding up some plans. What was that big sheet of paper?
Oh, I was looking on them S1 plans there to see if it was telling me where the center of gravity was. I forget what one of you guys said. What was it?
10% behind the leading edge, according to Jim Hoffman, which is a good source.
Wonderful. 10%. Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
It should be showing on your plans if it's typical as a circle with crosshairs on it with black and white fill in.
Yeah, I'm not. I looked the whole plan's over there for a while. I don't see it anywhere. Yeah, CG with circle. You're right. Yeah, I don't see it on these plans. Barry Baxter plans. I don't know.
If you need to pull up Hip Pocket Aeronautics, they have all the ringmaster plans on there. And
What is it? I'm sorry.
Hip Pocket Aeronautics.
Okay.
And there's all kinds of plans on there, including the ringmasters. In fact, I got one right in front of me that I took off there and just blew up for several years back. A baby ringmaster.
Hip Pocket Masters.
Although I got to put a new engine on it. This feels pretty sick for next weekend. But Hip Pocket Aeronautics. And, yeah, it's a Canadian site. Anyway, there's all kinds of plans available for download. And they have the various ringmasters. So you can just pull that up on your computer and compare it and see. They should have the CFD showing on just about any one of them. The S1 or the later modern one should be the same.
Wonderful. Thank you very much. Wonderful.
You are most welcome. So right
That
now
helps a
we
lot.
right now we are up to, in our live audience, we have like 26 viewers and we have 26 likes. Thank you very much. Appreciate that. And of course, we get lots of replays. You out of here, Carl?
If I remember correctly, the CG in that ringmaster is just in front of the spar just a little bit, if my memory serves me well.
All right.
Well,
Okay, thank you.
the spars in the middle of the rib towards the back. The legal ringmaster. Is that the one we're talking about?
Well, the one,
Yeah, it's the 35 size, isn't it?
Yeah, the one I'm
35
referring
size,
to.
yeah, the S1.
Yeah, that comes in the white box, Sterling.
Yes,
Yes,
exactly.
one.
Yeah.
Well, it seems to me that it was between the spar and the back of the leading edge, somewhere in that area. So
Spar in the
I could
back
be
of the
wrong on
leading
that. Well, you got the front of the leading edge, and then the back part of the leading edge where the ribs attached to.
Yeah.
Okay, between that point and the spar, somewhere in that area, I believe is the center of gravity.
Okay.
If my memory serves me right. Now that's it seems to me that's where I used to balance someone, when I was 13, 14 years old, but I could
Okay.
be wrong on that.
Jim's
Jim has the
holding up
plans
the
up there.
plans.
Who is?
Jim.
Oh, Jim Hoffman. Thank you, Jimmy. Make you big. Thanks for
There we go.
So
yeah.
these are
there it is, right?
Oh,
Yeah.
look at that. There
Yeah.
it is.
The spars
Yeah, there it
way
is.
back.
So it's about halfway between the leading edge and the high point.
Yep.
Yep.
Okay.
So
All right, I
that's
see it.
that's a good starting point.
Yeah.
And then you test fly and adjust from there.
Yeah.
But
All right.
the fella who was having a difficulty said his airplane was hunting, and an aft CG will do that. So there we go. That's a good place. That's where I started. That's a good
Okay.
place to start.
Yeah.
Good job.
Thank you so much, Jim, for setting us straight. Nothing like
you
proof
very
positive and documentation. Appreciate it. All right. Thank you very much.
Good job.
As a point of reference,
Yeah, John.
well, you can pretty well figure that most any non-flapped stunner will be somewhere between the 10 and the 18%, 19% of at the mean aerodynamic chord, which means if it's a tapered wing, it'll be in the middle of the wing. That'll be the chord. But if it's like a twister, a straight barn door wing, that's no problem. Then it's whatever the length of the chord is. And anyway, that's just as a means of reference.
Thank you, John.
Okay.
I have a
All right.
comment from Bryce Rackley, who's also a member of our YouTube channel. Thank you so much for your support, Bryce and Mark and Gary. He says, I have a Brodak kit of the original Thunderbird. How do they fly as an old-time stunt model? It is still wrapped in plastic. I have never opened it.
Not an old time, it's a classic.
Yeah, that'd be a classic, that flying classic. I don't know if you meant like an old time, like it's something in an actual old time event, or you just meant like it's an old plane. But yeah, that plane would be a classic plane and compete in classic.
Yep. Upright engine.
Yeah, and then Edward
It flew good.
He says, like sent. Thank you, Edward. Been a long time since I've seen you, Ed. Thanks very much for that. Very cool.
Hey guys, I'm gonna go. Good night.
All right, good night, Tryon.
Good night, Tryon.
Good night, Tryon.
Thanks for coming in.
Go
Yeah,
fly,
me
guys.
too. I gotta get up early in the morning. I'll fly.
I've got to go too.
Thank you, Mark, for coming
Mark.
in. You're saying goodbye to Jim?
See you, Jim.
I do. I've got other things to do tonight.
No problem.
Gotta go
Thank
try one of your carbon fiber props tomorrow, Jim.
Yeah, you be careful.
I will.
Good night, all.
Good luck.
Good night.
Good luck.
Good night.
Good night,
Mark,
everybody.
you'll get a better
Yeah.
corner.
Go ahead, Stuart. What's your question, Stuart, or comment?
Yeah, I just did a quick code on this.
Oh, wow. I saw you had a mask on.
Yeah, I did the coat in the white. How long should I wait before I can put the second coat on?
I like to leave about an hour, 2 hours between coats.
Okay, so
After you get about 4 coats on, then I like to leave it a whole day.
so should I pull that tape off right away and remask it?
Not if it's your first coat.
Okay,
Second coat, I'd take it off, remask.
okay, I'll do that. Wasn't really sure, so I'll do another coat tomorrow.
What plane is this, Stuart?
That's the twister.
Oh, very nice.
I'm doing the white first, and then I'll put the yellow on top of it. They say it's better to get a better coating.
Does give you more brilliant yellow.
Yeah,
Is that a fancherized twister? I forgot.
yeah, it is. Yeah.
Take another look at it. Oh, yeah, that's gonna fly good.
Well,
I like that.
What color are you doing the fuselage, Stuart?
Actually, I'm gonna do it yellow too.
Mhm.
And I might just put a couple accents yet. I'm not gonna get too carried away on this one, but so it's a first build, so we'll see how it goes.
Yeah, very nice. Probably gonna be your favorite airplane.
Yeah.
Is it done in dope or what, Stuart?
I did it, yeah, Brodax and then Brodac paint, like no, sorry, the wings are monocoat or like
Oh, okay.
ultra coat.
Gotcha.
So it's but
Oh, so the paint's only on the fuselage.
yep. Yeah.
Oh, I thought that was a wet coat of paint on the wing.
No, no. No.
Didn't you think so too, Gordon?
No, I knew what it was. It looks just like my Pathfinder.
Okay.
It's yellow.
All right. Very good.
Can call it Tweety Bird.
Yeah.
Yellow's good.
Hey, I got a question or an idea.
Go ahead,
I'd like
John.
to present to the group. Really enjoyed the discussion we had last Friday on the reverse wing over and kind of
Same
getting
here.
into detail on that.
Yeah, I like
Oh,
that
yeah.
conversation.
Yeah, I think it really helped a lot of people. And I'd like to propose that on this coming Friday, that we do similar discussion on the takeoff.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah.
You know,
Well, there's a lot.
because Art Adamation, when I went through his stunt school, he said that there's 2 maneuvers that you have to do in every flight.
Yeah.
And said you have to do those 2 on every flight. You may as well learn how to do them right. And that's takeoffs
Yep.
and landings.
Yeah.
And so yeah, there's all kinds of different ideas about what needs to be done on a takeoff and how to do it, and where the best place to take off is, and all kinds of stuff like that. And that I think would be fun to discuss that.
I like that. I always rush my takeoffs.
Do you? Well, I used to do lots of things. I still do lots of things. I haven't done them for 7 years, but nonetheless, when I was flying a lot, I made all the mistakes in the book. You can ask Gordon; he saw them all.
Well, I tried to help you, you just wouldn't listen.
Try to help you.
My last dozen or so flights, my landings have sure improved, but I got a long ways to go to really nail it. I wish I could land as good as I do full-size planes.
Oh yeah, but Art was absolutely right in the advice he gave. Every stunt flight, every successful stunt flight, you will have to do these 2 maneuvers.
Yeah.
Yep.
You know, and you do them on every flight you ever make, whether you do a pattern or not. You still do those two maneuvers. And
Well,
so
not necessarily.
you hope so anyway.
Maybe a crash won't qualify as a landing, John.
Oh, it's a 1 point landing.
Anyway, so come next Friday. Come up with either some ideas or some items to the discussion or some questions or whatever. And if it's all right with you, Charles, we'll.
I really enjoyed. I always enjoy when we talk about the stunt pattern. I mean, I've enjoyed all the conversations whenever we talk about a maneuver or just flying. Stuff around, about it's interesting. Yeah. But maybe we should just review what are some of the errors, common errors of doing the reverse swing over before we move on. And what comes to my mind is that you don't trace the overhead maneuver over your head. You don't replicate that coming back, because both passes over the center path have to be exactly over your head. Basically on top of another. And when you start the maneuver at the other 180 degrees from there, you need to exit. Sometimes that is canted a little bit to the left or to the right.
Yep.
It's you're talking about the reverse swing over.
Yeah, it's a very complicated maneuver. There's a lot of errors. Not to mention the little S on top, which your suggestion with the palms up will help eliminate that. And you see what are there?
And not facing when you go up and get up here and then turn around, you'll put a kink in it every time.
Right.
Every time. And the other one is where if you're not, and I'm guilty of this one, biggest sin, if you're not sure about that reverse pull out, and so you kind of hit it soft and kind of fly it into the corner instead of hitting it abruptly like you should.
Right. It's supposed to be a 6.9 feet radius. So to make it lazy and soft, that is not good.
You'll get through the pattern, and if you got to do what you got to do, I guess. But for ultimate points, that's what you need to be practicing. That it took me. It was amazing one day because I used to hold my hand at a level like that and straight up and down as I go instead of turning it.
Right.
And one day I thought, if I pull a little bit, if I lead it a little bit too much, I'll be giving it up and it's going to veer off.
That's right.
If I try to hold it back, it's going to go the other way. And that's when I started turning my hand so that the lines were perpendicular. Like after I make the turn it this way as I go over the top.
Right.
So now I'm pulling on both lines equally.
Right. Exactly. I had a friend who taught me that, and I had that little wiggle on top, and he suggested that, and it's perfect, but you can't get ahead of it or be behind it when you have the lines perpendicular to the plane that way. Basically have your palm up as you going up over your head. So the plane is not, if you are behind it or ahead of it, it doesn't affect the input. The input stays the same.
John, if you demonstrate any harder, you're going to go off your chair there.
Oh no, I got to sit down so I can do overheads.
Very good. Very good.
One thing if you want to, we could discuss at this today, just off the cuff, is impressions. Impressions may or may not make a difference in your score. You don't know, and you can't prove it. But if you watch what the guys that have done it the longest and they're getting the better scores, they're working the impression points.
Right.
That's why I always wear a tuxedo when I fly stunt.
Well, that is why for a long time everybody wore white pants,
Right.
Or the white shorts. I was watching some of those old videos from the 70s the other day. I was just cracking up with the frizzy hair and the white shorts. And
Mhm.
shirts.
And the big,
John,
big
get
afro
back to your
haircuts.
takeoffs and landings.
Pardon?
Get back to the takeoffs and landings that you suggested. I'd
Yeah.
heard it said and thought about it. They're not the easiest points to get, but they're the safest points to strive for.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's true. That's
And you
true.
have
And
to
there's,
do have to
there's
do
80 points. 80
Yep.
points of your pattern are involved in that takeoff and that landing.
And almost zero risk to your airplane.
Right. Exactly.
That's right. You know, Bob Hunt said your impression starts the moment you get out of your car.
Mhm.
Does that mean I have to shave?
I don't. I watched guys come into the circle, and they come in there like they're bringing a garage sale with them. You know what I mean? They got boxes and this and that, and all this stuff that bringing in, and the other thing is they've got it strewn all around them, and then they get the motor running, and then they got to get it all out of the way. That makes an impression. I watched Keith. Keith has a little box. The box is about that big and about that tall. Everything he needs to go out there and get his airplane started. He's got his fuel bulb in, everything's all ready to go. And he takes his little box out there with him, sets it down, and starts his airplane up and scoots a little box out of the way and gets up and walks out to the airplane. Now, which do you think has the better impression? I can't say for sure whether it makes a whole lot of difference. But if it does make a difference, which one has the better impression?
Right. Exactly. Had a little box and you got it all together and you're just ready.
Yeah.
That makes a great impression.
And it's painted yellow and black.
Yeah.
I don't know what impression it makes,
Never
but
seen
when
it.
I go out, I've got my glow igniter, a little prime bottle, but I rarely need it, especially with the LAs, and my glove.
Yeah.
And I use one of those chef's gloves that are that steel lining so you can't cut yourself.
Yeah.
And shove that and the igniter into my pocket and grab the handle and go.
That's all I use.
Yep.
Air bottle and the nightcap and my little finger guard. Bam.
Yeah. I got scrawny fingers, so those finger guards never fit me anyway.
Well, and think about, okay, so you got out there and you got your engine started and you've flown your flight and everything, and you come in and you land. So then there's a guy that sits there and he's waiting and nobody's coming out to pick up his airplane, and the next guy is ready wanting to stage, and you're holding the whole show up, and you finally get somebody come out and they go across the circle and everybody has to duck and get out of the way, and not a good impression.
No, I can't say I've ever experienced that at our club, John. Everyone is coordinated. You got your helper, and we got it down to a drill that the incoming airplane has the right of way to going back to the pits. The other guys have to duck while you go over them.
Yep.
I have seen it go that way in some areas. In some contests, I've seen it go completely afoul. It's just that your guys at your club are all flying together, so you got it down to drill. You're used to flying together, but you may get to a contest and you don't have your buddies with you, and you have to say, "Hey, would you launch me or pick me up?" And so, what I'm suggesting is you might just want whoever you can get to volunteer in a situation where this happens. Sit down and have a little talk with them about how you want to do it, and make sure everybody understands everything so they know when to watch when your airplane quits. That they're not just volunteering to launch; they're volunteering to retrieve, please. Kind of a thing.
Right.
And so when you come to a stop, they're already on their way there to pick it up.
Right.
And I like
Man, none of you guys better ever come to a contest, a combat contest. Gordy can tell you that. Contest supposed to start at 9. Guys roll in at 8:30, and they got to put up 4 test flights on their airplanes because they haven't flown them since the contest before.
Right.
And
right.
you're lucky if a 9 a.m. combat contest starts by 10 or 10:30, because every Tom, Dick, and Harry out. Oh, I got to get a needle. I gotta trim this airplane. It's got to work.
That's why the combat guys are lovingly called the unwashed masses.
Yeah.
Because they're not getting judged on their takeoff or their landing.
I mean, it's cool, you know, everybody just takes it with a grain of salt that we're going to start late everywhere but the Nats. Now at the Nats, that's a different story.
Mm-hmm.
Dave Edwards does, you know, 9 o'clock start time is a 9 o'clock start time. 8:30 pilots meeting, 9 o'clock start. That's the deal. But everywhere else I go or that I've been, 9 o'clock start time don't mean nothing in combat. It just doesn't.
I've noticed that where I've been, like at the Northwest Regionals, you know, and they're flying combat. But anyway,
it's been about 47 years since I've had the pleasure of seeing a combat contest.
Really?
Wow.
We just don't do it around here now. It's all stunt.
Wow.
Some of us are wanting to get it happening, and well, I guess we got to get off the pot and build some more planes and just get out and do it.
Yeah, you know, years ago when I flew combat, everybody around Salt Lake flew combat. Well, a bunch of them started moving away, and pretty soon there wasn't anybody else to fly combat with. So then I started flying stunt, and then the ones that were remaining flying stunt. Well,
combat carrier.
Yeah. Well, I got you on here, Bob. Have you got a lot of flights on your Shark?
I got 0 on my Shark. I haven't finished building it yet.
Oh. Are you working on it?
It's been sitting. Nope, I'm not going to be working on it for a while. It's sitting up above me on top of a set of cupboards, and I built the wing and the tail surfaces way back in about 1976 or so.
Oh.
And then everything got packed away, and I've just had other priorities. So one of these days, you know, like we say, but I'm glad I didn't start in the fuse, because that pieced together fuse with that crappy wood and everything, I've got some real nice pieces of 1/8 inch by 48 inch contest balsa set aside for that. And you know, that's laminated together tail surfaces and stuff. I'm going to throw all that away and rebuild from scratch. The wing wasn't bad though, you know, the wood in it and everything. It came out nice. I'm just going to change it to a better bell crank, and I think I'll take the gear out, and instead of mounted the spar like it is, I think I'm going to put in classical gear blocks so that I can at least have it removable.
That's a good
you know,
idea.
things like that. But
Excellent.
so I'm glad I didn't carry on with it in my inexperienced days and with that, you know, poor wood and construction methods, that I can do it proper now. And I was going to put a Super Techer 46 in it, but I think I'll go with that 51 now. I've got a new one sitting here in a box.
Well, either one would be fine motors.
Yeah, now I've got the 3 Brian Gardner 60 conversion kits coming too. So.
Oh wow!
But so I'm not hurting for engines for, you know, that size airplane at all.
Yeah, that's what is it? About 650 or something like that.
Squares, yeah, somewhere in there.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've got 3 LA 46s and a couple of LA 40s and this and that. You know, any of them would probably pull it around fine. But.
Yeah.
There's nothing like a Thunder or Super Tiger 60 pulling a Shark around.
Well, that's really a big block for that size of an airplane, John.
Yeah, but it sounds and looks and flies so nice.
I'm thinking with that, by the time you throw a muffler and a nice needle nose on it, I've got a Froome spinner set aside for it too, but time I get all that weight in the nose, if I ran a 60, I'm going to have a brick in the tail.
Yeah.
Well, who's the guy from Australia that won the Australian Nats with a Nobler with a, what do you have? He had a 60 in that.
PJ Rollins.
Yeah, he had a 60 in that, didn't he?
No, I think it was. Yeah, I think you're right, but it was a Stalker 60, or was it the it's a light engine, extremely light engine. It was a rear exhaust, so the weight went back a little bit.
It was a Stalker.
Stalker 60, yeah.
Yeah.
How is he going to pull off a rear exhaust and have that trike gear there and a way to mount it?
Oh, this is on a Nobler.
Oh, Nobler. Oh, okay, gotcha.
Yeah, I've got trike gear in 2 of my airplanes with rear exhaust, and I mount the nose wheel and the cowl.
Yeah, I saw that on John Miller's plane, is a Pathfinder.
Okay.
Yeah.
Put the front landing gear in the cowl.
Well,
so you've got sort of a flat mount for it instead of a vertical.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
In fact, I've done that on 3 airplanes now. I forgot my I can't remember. Blanca.
The first one I ever did it on was this one here. And that nose gear is mounted to the cowl.
I see.
And this airplane at the 95 Nats on a rollout on a landing hit a full-size tie down, and it bounced it up about 6, 7, 8 feet in the air, and it came down and landed right on that nose wheel. So you think it was going to break, you think it'd break then, don't you? All it did was bend it back a little bit.
So your cowl mounts or cowl tie downs are very critical when you put the wheel on that, the wire wheel.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and the nice part when you're working on them, you take your cowl off, the nose wheels out of the way.
Good point. Yep. Good point. So I wonder if so that could be done on a Shark. Put the that front wire wheel on the cowl.
Yep,
you could do it.
Yeah.
You'd want to redo the nose anyway, Charles, and that's another reason why I'm glad I didn't do the fuse, because I want a modern removable tank instead of built in.
Yeah.
Good point. Now I have a comment, you guys, from the chat box. Let me read this. It's from Furmaster 212, and the person goes on to say, Gordon has seen my half-A tray. It's my flight box. Transport and stooge runaway all in one. Call it Stooge 3000, LOL.
Who's that from?
His handle is Furmaster 212. Furmaster 212, go and tell us who you are if you want. That way Gordon recognizes who you are.
Gotta sneak away for a few minutes, guys. Join you again shortly.
All right.
All right.
Yeah. One thing, when I'm through, when I start my motor, the NiCad goes in my pocket and the primer bottle goes in the other pocket.
What goes in the other pocket?
The primer bottle.
Oh, primer bottle. I didn't get a chance to mention, but I use a fanny pack. And my fanny pack carries my igniter, my prime bottle. I even have a
that's a good idea.
Some tools in there, and it's really handy. I've actually been ribbed a little bit at contests. What's that? Why are you having all that? And I go, it carries all my stuff. That way, when I start my plane, I don't have to throw the igniter or the finger caught away. It's like everything goes back to my fanny pack. And I just bought a new fanny pack. This is my 3rd fanny pack that I've used in flying control line stunt. And I use it when I practice as well. It's just something I always have.
Do you carry that in the front or on your side?
On the side.
Because I'm kind of weak there, and so I'd always be leaning to one side.
Yeah, I just put it on the side and yeah, so it's something that works for me.
Hey, Charles, I'm
Yeah.
gonna get the cowl for the Pathfinder LE.
Okay. Oh, great. Thank
That
you.
way you can see how the nose gear is mounted in it.
Excellent. I appreciate that. Thank you very much. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, that's a good idea, Charles.
Yeah, I have a little video. I was gonna maybe find my video because there's a video of me flying my Nobler at a contest, and you can see it's on my side. Where is that? Let me see here.
And the nice part, you can also put your glow plug and prop wrench in there.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, yeah. I have all that I need is there. Let me see if I can share this little, just to start. You can see what I use. Let me see here. Whoops, I meant to switch here. Switch to this here. And so just hold tight. But I've been doing it for a long time. And well, this is not a good view of it actually. That's you really can't see it. Well, I'll show that it's not in my way. I don't think I can share it. I don't think I can. Wow. You know, for some reason, my share screen works different than when you guys are sharing it. Unless I do it this way. Let me see here. No. Yeah, I'll have to show it some other time.
All right. I know what you're talking about. See, in my pockets would be overwhelmed to put a prop wrench and a glow plug. That'd be some Bolds and Levi's.
Yeah, you wear farmer coveralls, put them all here in the bib, you know.
Yeah.
Hey, Len, you sleep?
He's doing an impression of Kilroy.
You got your cowl off, John?
It's right here.
All right, make it big. Here, hang on a second.
Wayne had his hand up there for a minute, though.
All right.
Go ahead. You were first, John. Go ahead.
Okay. Okay, here's the
problem.
cowl for the Pathfinder LE, you know, and it's really quite light. But what if you look at the inside, you see there's
not enough light, John.
If you can shine a light in there, that'd be great. You have a flashlight or your cell phone?
I'll turn on the big light in here.
The big light with the big John.
We could use the reflection off Len's head.
Oh.
Poor Len.
Only
Poor
when
Len.
Only when he's asleep does he have the
Okay, it's still dark in there, but you see
but right there, that angle, yeah, we can see it. We see the
you see that, that's plywood. That's actually it looks like it's 3/32 plywood. And what is there's a notch right here on the side. There's a notch right here for 1/8" ply that goes clear across.
Except for the outside, John.
I'm on the outside, but it notches down before the balsa goes on here, and that is where your nose gear is mounted to that plate.
Okay.
Okay, and then it's got like it comes up here. Try to get this so you can see in there. You see that plate? Well, it comes up. Doing this back, it comes up from there. Anyway, and it makes a turn up there to keep it lined up. And then this part is bolted on to the plate itself. And then this balsa is on top here. That's so it can be shaped. So the
Okay.
balsa.
Right.
So that gives you a solid plate to mount to, and it works quite well. I only had to have one screw holding back here. Those of us that are really security minded might have two back here, but I only used one and never had a problem.
And I see you have two pins up front.
I've got two pins up here that go in.
Right. Are those pins made out of wood, hardwood, or what are the pins made out of?
These pins are made out of brass tubing.
Okay.
John, did you glass the inside?
Nope. No, it's
You know,
not
John,
glass. Yes.
I can see a real advantage to that too. In case of a really bad day where you smucked her in the nose, it's
Yeah.
just going to destroy your cowl instead of breaking your fuselage open.
You know, there's a good point there on that. Yeah. But like I say, that the model behind me came down and hit like right there. This has actually been bent back a little bit too, but it bent it back, but it didn't break it. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And it didn't pop it loose. And it hit, not as hard as if it came in under power, but it didn't hit easy. It was on asphalt. So it's a lot stouter than you'd think. And really, I don't think there was that much extra weight. I don't think there's probably wound up less weight in the final analysis, probably less weight mounting it this way than had I extended and brought it up and mounted it like the typical way a nose gear is mounted on a fuselage.
You know, I just had a thought related to that, John, that I'm just sort of percolating here. That ply plate, if you made it the gear attached to a plate that screws onto blind nuts or whatever with nylon bolts, you'd have a breakaway landing gear.
You're right, you would. That makes a good point. Use nylon bolts to bolt them on.
Yeah, back in the 60s, Bart Kopensky mounted his nose wheel in the cowl. On his
I might do that with my Shark and with my whatchamacallit, the geez, why am I drawing a blank here? My from the 60s, the Charles and I were just talking about it the other day. Stingray.
Oh yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Well, I like it. Gordy likes it. Bart likes it.
Good
Well,
enough
then
for
it's
me.
unanimous. I got to do it.
There you go. You got no choice now.
I'll just use nylon bolts because I got to keep it individual.
Why, certainly, yeah. Then you can report to us how good it works, and then we'll all have to change our ways.
Well, you know what'll happen then? That'll be the airplane I never botch a landing with.
You're right.
So Gordon, I got a response from Furmaster 212. He goes, "It's Arthur," with a smiley face.
Oh, yeah, he's the young man that flies around here.
Yeah. And then McBride 001, who is also a member of our YouTube channel. Thank you, Ruben. He says, "I have not seen Keith Trossel on lately. Is he okay?" I spoke to Keith Trossel before he left. I'm sure he's back by now, but he went on a cruise, and to celebrate, it was planned before COVID. They was planning a 60th anniversary celebration. So since the COVID, they went and did it, but now they celebrate their 63rd. So I haven't spoken to him. I might give him a call and see how he's doing. Thank you for reminding me.
He's
Ruben,
made
but-
posts on Stunthangar recently. In the
Yeah,
last
he made
few
one
days.
today.
Yeah.
He made one today. Yeah.
All right, good. Hey, Ruben, did Stephen McBride ever fly? I knew he flew a Shark 45. I remember seeing his Shark 45. And but has he ever flown a Gypsy? I'm just wondering if you remember what you thought of those two airplanes.
No, I never have.
I know Lanny Shorts flew a Gypsy quite a bit.
Yes, and
I don't know if Lanny flew a Shark either.
yeah, Lanny's Gypsy flew really well.
Yeah, I when I first saw it, I thought it was paint. I couldn't believe it was monocoat or a unique or some sort of plastic covering. It was unbelievable.
It was painted.
Huh?
Wasn't it painted?
No, I thought it was. No, it wasn't painted. It was film.
I've got pictures of it. I better take them out and look a little closer, huh?
Yeah, it's film. It's amazing.
Wow.
I'm trying to think of who around here is flying a Gypsy. There is one in our club. I'm trying to remember who the heck has it. Might be Rob, but I'll try and find out for you, Charles, on his impressions on it if I can nail him down.
All right. I mean, I think I'd probably be happier with the Shark because it's bigger. I really like
it's meaner looking.
I like big planes.
Do any of you guys find the tricycle undercarriage much better for a long takeoff? You know,
I've never
I
flown
found
one
it much better. Gordon's the one that really taught me about using the tri-gear. I'd heard people using an advantage of that, but it has some advantages in takeoff and in landings. You can't, if you have to work to botch a landing up with tri-gear. It can be done, but you've got to work at it. You know,
my Midwest King Cobra had really nice long takeoffs, but it didn't have any bloody choice because this thing was such a heavy pig.
Well, another thing, in deep grass, you won't nose over.
Want to bet?
Well, you got to work at it.
I've only got one with a tricycle undercarriage, and that's my ME 262. And last time I flew it, I think I got into trouble. Like, who was it earlier that said he got in his own wake and he plowed it in? He was on earlier. It was Mark Gerber. I think that happened to me last time I flew the 262. I wondered why I was getting rattles on the tail when I was going around. But anyway, that thing, I reckon I could just be able to do a lap on the ground with that thing when you take off.
Oh,
amazing. Yeah. It just sticks down, you know, it won't lift off till you tell it to. It's amazing. And the landings are quite good too.
Wake already has the main setup on the Pathfinder. He has the where the wheel touches the ground, the main wheel touches the ground, is like less than an inch behind the CG.
Oh, right.
And what that does, see, if you get it too much further behind the CG, and then now you want to rotate, you have to give it some pressure on the elevator. And when it breaks loose, it pops up if you're too far back. But if you got it, basically, like if you go either his or my, or if I've got a Pathfinder profile out there, if it's sitting there with no fuel in the tank, if it's on all of gear, if you just breathe on the tail, it'll settle down and sit on the tail.
Now, Bruce doesn't seem to have any real issues with too much with his big twin with his strike gear, except on one flight he was saying, I think it was at the Northwest Regionals, he was saying that the gear wasn't coming down and he's whipping it and just about to bag out, and finally the gear popped down for him to land.
Who was that?
Bruce?
That was Bruce.
That happened to Gordy.
Yeah, down in Buckeye.
I
With
don't
the-
use
with
wheels to land. I just landed inverted today.
Who did what?
I said I don't use wheels. I just landed inverted today.
Oh, you use skids, huh?
Yeah.
Building a new stab, are you?
Nope. Actually, it didn't hurt it at all.
Great, fantastic.
In the
That's
grass.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah. No cement.
Well, you guys, it's a little bit after the hour, and I'm going to end the live stream. Thank you so much for coming in. I appreciate it. Wouldn't be a show without you guys. Hopefully, you have a chance to do some flying or work on your shop, and then come back Friday and tell us all about it. So until then, fair winds, tight lines. See ya.